So, sweet stability. It's our kind of every Thursday, our second class of the day. Well, I guess it's our third, because we also have a 6 a.m. class, which some reason I never count it as a class that I teach. I don't know, maybe I just really enjoy it. I really like being up early in the morning, so I don't usually take that into consideration when I think of the day. I usually think of the 10 a.m. classes as the first class. But anyways, sweet stability is usually our second class of the late morning on Thursdays. And today we're just gonna have fun. So we are going to work on lots of fun stuff. And you may want to have a wall nearby to set up near. We're gonna play with some stuff that we've been working on for a little while, and just adding another layer of focus onto it. So one of the things that we've been focusing on a lot, kind of all of my classes kind of have a similar focus each month. So we're working with a lot of the same muscle groups so we can really learn how to use them well. And some of the classes kind of overlap in that what we might be doing in one might be beneficial or helpful for us in another. That being said, we don't teach the same class every time. So it's not like my Monday morning class is the same for the whole month, but it has a similar theme. So it has a similar pattern of movements, similar muscle groups that we're working with, things like that. But and a lot of times it's building. So it's like starting in a simpler version of a pose and then gradually adding layers onto that pose until it becomes more challenging. And then when we break it down like that, you get to choose, like, oh, that thing that we did the first week, that simpler version, I like that one a lot and I'm gonna stay there. Or if you want, you can start trying some of the more challenging stuff. So, a couple of things we've been working through: tree pose. So that bending of our knee and pushing it out to the side. So we've been doing a lot of that movement pattern in a lot of the classes. We're gonna do the same thing in this class, but we also have the option of inverting that movement. So I'm gonna give you a few options for playing, because I know that it doesn't work for everyone's body to be upside down, whether it's like a health condition, like unmedicated high blood pressure that would say like we don't really go and spend a lot of time upside down, or whether it's just that you don't feel strong enough physically to be upside down. That can be a thing where it's hard on our body to support our weight on our arms. Sometimes we just don't feel ready mentally. Maybe our body is ready to do the movement, but our brain is like, you know what? I don't want to be upside down right now. This is not the movement for me today. So when I teach this class, when I come to the inversion part, I'll be at the wall for two reasons. One, I can still face the camera, so my voice will still be projecting this way so that it will come towards you, towards the microphone. The other thing is that when I'm playing with movements with people, I would encourage you to use the wall. It's awesome. It keeps us feeling safer in our mind so that we can focus on the movement. But you also don't have to be at the wall if you're really comfortable. So the inversion that we'll be practicing today will be headstand variations. And then if you don't feel comfortable being freestanding in a room, you have the wall. And if you love being in headstand and freestanding, you feel free to be wherever you want to be. So the first thing that we're going to do to start our practice is we're just going to come into Dolphin Pose. So I got my props up to the side here. So I'm going to bring my forearms onto the ground. You could have arms like this in Dolphin Pose where you're here. It could also be like this. Choose what one feels nicest to you. A lot of times, if we're going to be going into like forearm balance, I will offer this to start getting that external rotation of our upper arm bones so that we're kind of ready and turning on those muscles to do that. But we're practicing headstand today, which is like this. So choose which one you want to do. So when I come down here to the ground with my forearms, I'm going to lift my hips, walk myself in a little bit and pause. And breathe. our sun salutations, I would offer that we come into dolphin instead of being in our downward facing dog. And you could also choose downward dog if you prefer that. Take a couple more breaths here. And then we'll bring our knees to the ground, hips back towards the heels. Pause for a couple of breaths. Slowly make our way into downward dog. And then step ourselves forward in front of our mat. Big breath in to lengthen. Big breath out to fold down. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So we're going to work today through a couple of variations on sun salutation. Again, these are some of the things that we have been practicing in the studio for a couple of weeks now, and breaking them down. So I'm trying to keep some of the same movement patterns, even now that we're not practicing together in the same room. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just move through a couple of rounds of sun salutation A. Not really a lot of change, except for with the offer of taking dolphin pose instead of our downward facing dog for our pause, for our 5 breaths. I'm going to talk through the first sun salutation. I'm going to do 2 more after, and I'm not going to cue them verbally. So you're welcome to look towards the screen if you want to follow along with what I'm doing, but I'm just going to move in a little bit more quiet. So big breath in, arms reach up overhead. Big breath out to fold forward. Big breath in, halfway up. Big breath out, hands to the floor, we'll step back to plank. First couple of chaturangas, I'm going to come all the way to the ground. So you could bring knees to the floor or not when you lower down. Slowly bringing torso to the ground. Big breath in to lift the heart. Big breath out to downward dog. From here, we could bring one elbow down at a time, like this, and then hands together. Or we could bring both elbows down at the same time, and then hands together. 5 breaths here. When I come back out of my down dog, I can lift one elbow at a time, or I can lift both elbows. Hands are going to come back out to the ground. Lift. And then back to the top of the mat. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale to float down. Inhale, reaching up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart. So move forward through 2 more rounds in just quiet. I retied my shirt and it's driving me crazy, so I have to fix it really quick. can change our movement just a little bit. So we're gonna come into different version of Sun Salutation B. When we're moving through, I'm gonna cue the first round. Sun Salutation B, a little bit longer. I'm gonna cue the first round, and then I'm gonna leave it at 1 round on the video with the option of you working through more rounds if you would like. So my intention with the practice that I'm sequencing would be 3 rounds, but you could do 5 rounds if you wanted. You could do a bajillion rounds if you wanted, whatever you feel like you want to do. And you could just rewind and follow the cueing again, or you could pause it and work through your own Sun Salutation V. So from here, hands come together in front of the heart. Big breath in, arms reach up, hips sink back. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, we can step, walk, or hop back to plank, or we've been working in the class on jumping back to chaturanga, so that's what I'm gonna do here. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to downward dog. Right foot reaches up, steps forward. Rise into our high lunge. Exhale, hands to the ground, move through chaturanga. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to downward dog. Left leg comes up and steps forward. Big breath in, big breath out. Lower through chaturanga, inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to downward dog. This shirt is gonna drive me crazy today. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, we can step, walk or hop ourselves back to the top of the mat. Big breath in to come halfway up. Big breath out to fold forward. Big breath in to chair pose. Big breath out to Samastitihi. So from right here, you can hit pause. You can work through that a couple more times, or you can rewind the video and work through it again with me. And then we're gonna come into, when you're done your Sun Salutations, our next movement. So for the next movement, we can find our way into plank pose. And what we're gonna do in our plank pose is tuck one knee in, lift and lower the knee towards the ground. So we're gonna do something else after. So we're gonna bring the knee as close to the ground as we can, and then we're gonna push the knee as high away from the floor as we can. So when I come towards my arm with my knee, or towards like my forehead, depending on the length of my leg bones and the length of my upper body, like my knee might not touch things. I'm not looking to like really round my back and curl it and make it touch. I'm just flexing my hip and flexing my knee, pulling it in as far forward and up as I can, and then I'll move from there, okay? So when I come into my plank pose, I'm gonna step back, and pull right knee in first. Lower, push away. All the way back, same thing other side. All the way back, we can take a pause. You could come to child's pose. You could come to downward facing dog. You could come to puppy dog pose. Whatever you want. Take a couple of breaths, but we'll come back to that. So again here, you could pause the video. You could do that between 3 and 5 more times, or if one time felt good enough for you, we can leave it at 1. The next movement that we're gonna make is we're gonna come forward with the knee towards the same arm, and then shift the knee across towards the opposite arm, and then back, and then stretch the leg back out. So we did 5 of those up and down movements, and we're gonna do 5 times where we come in, over, back, and back. So extending the leg all the way back out in between repetitions. Okay, so another option that I didn't mention too is we could do this with one knee on the ground in like a modified plank version. You might not get some of the same movement when we're bringing the knee across towards the other arm, because you might not be able to twist the same, well, you might not be able to twist the same way with your knee on the floor, but that is an option. So when you're ready, we're gonna do 5 one leg, 5 the other leg, and then a rest pose. So a down dog, puppy dog pose, or child's pose. All the way over to the other side. That's a good one. Pause, take a couple of breaths. When you're ready, we're going to start to move. Again, I don't even know how long we've been filming for. So, from here, we are going to play with doing some Shakti kicks. So, because we're going to move towards headstand eventually, we could do Shakti kicks with forearms on the ground, fingers interlaced, the same position that our arms will be when we come into supported headstand. You could also have your hands on the ground. That would be totally fine. So, come into this position. We're gonna do 5 Shakti kicks with one leg, 5 Shakti kicks with the other leg, and then pause. Pause could be Dolphin Pose, downward facing dog, child's pose. Just like the last time. Okay, so here we go. Nice controlled movements. One leg reaches up, little hops. All the way down, switch sides. Fix this again, because I hate when my shirt comes up. It is like, there is nothing else. I would rather my pants fall off in the middle of yoga practice than my shirt come up. True story. 5 times with the other leg. Come to your pause. Your child's pose, puppy dog, downward facing dog. We are going to do that 3 times or 5 times. So 2 more times, 4 more times. And you can pick. So you can pause, work through those, come all the way back. We're starting to get our legs ready to come into our tree pose. So when we're done with Shakti kicks, we're gonna start in downward facing dog, not downward dog. We're gonna start in plank pose. We're gonna bring our foot to our knee. So like we're coming into tree, we're gonna start to lower towards the ground. So as I come down, if I know that my hip doesn't like to come out that far, I might put like a pillow or something underneath my pelvis, the front of my pelvis, so that when I come down, my knee can come a little bit closer to the ground. Another option is to just come down as far as we can. We don't have to come all the way to the floor. We're just gonna play with the movement. See what we can do with our body today. So, when I'm coming into the movement, I'm going to come into plank, bring my leg into tree, lower down to the floor. Pause. From here, I might stay just like this. I might see if I can lift my heart a little bit. Rock side to side. Pause. We're going to come all the way back to our high plank. So I'm going to tuck my toes under. See if I can push myself up to plank and then bring my foot back. Another option would be to bring my foot back first. Lift up to knees, lift up to plank. You can kind of play with it, see what works in your body. This movement is hard for me, which is why I like to do it as much as I can. So pushing the floor away, coming back to plank. Other way, lower down to the ground. Inhale to lift the heart. Bring side to side a couple of times. All the way back to center. I'm going to tuck my toe under, push the floor away, back to my plank. Child's pose, stretching out the low back. Getting my shoulders ready for what I'm going to come into. So when we come into our headstand today, we are going to play with coming into headstand and doing tree pose in our headstand. So again, I know I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to do this at the wall here. You don't have to do it at the wall if you don't want to. And you don't have to go all the way up. And before I go up, let me show you another option. So another option, if you didn't want to go all the way upside down today, maybe come to the back. I'm going to bring my arms in the same position, more or less, that I would have them if I was upside down. So I'm going to bring my hands just in behind my head. I'm going to extend my legs out, so kind of pretending like I'm in headstand here. I'm going to squeeze, I'm going to come into like a hollow body position. I'm going to lift my shoulders away from the floor, lift my heels. Slowly bring my legs into tree. You can switch and do the other side. So that's one option. Another option is to come into tree pose. So, or tree pose, into tree pose in headstand. So when we come up, and you could pause this video here, you can spend as much time as you want doing this. You can try both options, I would. I really love that version for my core. I feel like I get a lot out of it. I feel like I get as much out of it as I get out of going all the way upside down. If we're coming all the way upside down, we're going to find our position for our arms, head onto the floor, the hips, walk the feet in. One leg comes up, a little pick up. So my feet could find the wall, my feet could be away from the wall. Take one leg into tree. I'm going to push my knee towards the wall behind me. Slowly switch sides. Slowly extend. And come all the way back down. You can do it lots of ways. Take one leg down. And then the other. All the way back to where we started. From here, you can make your way into Shavasana. into a comfortable rest pose where you can be for 1,